Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So today we're heading to Modern to check out a deck that kinda looks like it could be legal in Standard. This is Naya Midrange, recently took Matthew Bowden to a top 8 finish at a SCG Modern IQ, so congrats to Matthew on their finish with the deck. A quick reminder before we break it all down, if you enjoy this deck and want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So the cool thing about Naya Midrange, and this deck we're going to be talking about, is it gives you a way to take advantage of a lot of your standard cards that are either in the format right now or cards that are going to be rotating in just a couple of days. So if you're looking for a reason to hold on to some of your Dragons of Tarkir cards, this might be it. So Naya Midrange is sort of this straightforward, play big stuff quickly and hope it's enough to win the game deck. So it's looking to ramp on turn 1, has a total of 9 ramp cards, including the super powerful Utopia Sprawl Arbor Elf combo. With these two cards, if you play an Arbor Elf on turn 1, on turn 2 you can Utopia Sprawl Enchanting a Forest, then you can tap it, use Arbor Elf to untap it, tap it again, gives you access to 4 mana on turn 2, so you can start playing big things really quickly, and then on turn 3 you have access to up to 6 mana to play just some really big haymakers really early in the game. So that's what the deck is looking to do, playing a total of 9 of these cards because it really wants to make sure it has one on turn 1. If it doesn't, the deck would probably be pretty slow, so you really want at least 1 or even 2 of these cards in your opening hand. And then the deck's looking to, on turn 2, or turn 3 at the latest, play Loxodon Smiter, just a really above-the-curve beater, a 4/4 for 3, so it's just above-the-curve beater, start chipping away at your opponent's life total, and Tireless Tracker generates you some card advantage, also gets pretty big when you set clues, and remember this is Modern, so fetch lands are a thing, so it's really easy to generate a lot of clue tokens for Tireless Tracker. So ramping on turn 1, Loxodon Smiters, Tireless Trackers on turn 2, on turn 3, turn 4, you're looking to play something really big dragon. So we got Thunderbreak Regent, which does a couple of things. For one thing, it's like an air version of Loxodon Smiter. It's evasive, it's a 4/4, can get in a lot of damage. Being a 4/4, it dodges Lightning Bolt and Lightning Helix, so it's kind of hard to kill. The second thing it does is it kind of protects your dragons. Not really, but it makes your opponent take damage if they want to deal with them with a removal spell. So it protects itself, plus it protects the big finishers in Dragonlord Dromoka and Dragonlord Atarka. Dragonlord Dromoka lets the deck get back into games when it's behind. I don't know how a burn deck, barring like a sideboard Path to Exile or something, I don't know how a burn deck deals with Dragonlord Dromoka. It is just almost unbeatable. It's so big, it's so hard to deal with, so it gives you a trump against really aggressive decks. Dragonlord Atarka can kill one big creature, kill a bunch of little creatures, and is at 8/8 flying trample. It's going to close out the game really quickly. So these cards are kind of your big hitters to take over the game. The deck also gets 4 Nahiris and a single Emrakul the Aeon's Torn for the Nahiri Ultimate. Nahiri's just proven to be one of the best planeswalkers in Modern. And Emrakul, of course, nothing is bigger and badder in all of Magic than an Emrakul the Aeon's Torn. The most guaranteed way to close out a game as far as creatures are concerned. The rest of the deck, you get a bit of removal, 4 bolts, 4 Path to Exiles. In the mana base, Kessig Wolfrun is probably the most unique land. Lets you trample up some of your creatures, so works really good with like Dragonlord Dromoka, your big Loxodon Smiters, makes it so your opponent can't just chump block them. If you get enough mana, can also just fireball essentially your opponent by targeting an attacking creature and close out the game. The rest of the mana base, you get some fetch lands, get some shock lands to fetch up, get some basic lands, so really straightforward apart from the Kessig Wolfrun. As far as the sideboard, get some really powerful hate cards. Stony Silence and Shatterstorm, amazing against Affinity. Stony Silence can also help against some other decks like Tron, for example. Rest in Peace shuts down Dredge, Snapcaster decks, keeps Tarmogoyf small. Leyline of Sanctity helps against Burn, some combo decks, heavy discard decks like 8-Rat. Crumble the Dust is a trump card against Tron, also good against creature lands. Anger of the Gods helps against little creature decks, and because all the creatures in this deck are so big, apart from the few ramp creatures, and remember, Utopia Sprawl isn't a creature, so even some of our one-drop ramp doesn't get hit by it, but since our creatures are so big, kind of becomes a one-sided Wrath, really good against Affinity, any aggro decks. And then a couple more creatures, mostly for control decks. Storm Breath gives you some hasty damage, has protection from Path to Exile, which is often relevant, and Thrun, uncounterable, regenerating, hexproof, just so hard to deal with if you're a control deck. And that is Naya Midrange for Modern, and that's been our Instant Deck Tech for today. So thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon.